Hello, welcome back to my channel. So, today I want to talk about, this video I want to talk about the truth about being alone in your 40s or your 30s. I turned 40 last year, and I basically spent my whole 30s being by myself because everyone else has left me. Um, and I was chronically ill, and I was going through a lot of grief, processing, and depression, and everything. So, before we go into the depressed part of being alone, let's discuss the good part of being alone. To be honest, I'm surrounded by older women, right? And I feel like lately some women complain so much about their husband, and that's the only time they would bring up like their husband in a conversation to complain about them. And the younger ones usually complain about their in-laws and what their mother-in-law is doing to drive them crazy, and all these things that basically come with living with people and living in a community basically. And I realized, like, okay, one of the benefits of being alone is definitely not having to adjust yourself to other people's wants or quirkiness, and you don't have to adjust yourself. Basically, you don't have to be considerate about everything. You just can do whatever it is that you want to do. You want to sleep until noon, you can do that. You want to sleep at 5 in the morning, you can do that. Like, no one's gonna tell you, you can't do that, or like in a good way as well. Sometimes, some people would tell you don't sleep too really late because it's really bad for your health. So that's like one of the, I guess, the good part about being alone. You can do whatever you want, which is also probably a bad thing because, sometimes you do need people to tell you, hey, you probably should not do that. But anyway, welcome to the channel. Just in case if you're new here, my name is Valourine. I'm a solopreneur. 2025, I just going to do a lot of talking videos. So if you like having company and just have a cup of tea or coffee while you're just enjoying yourself, reading your book, having me in the background, come and join us. But I do a lot of vlogs as well last year to document my 40th year. So I do have vlogs if you are interested in vlogs. And you can check out all the description in the description box below, the links and everything. And I'm a solopreneur, which means I do sell stuff on the internet, and that's primarily how I pay my bills. If you want to check out my art shops and my graphic design stuff, it's all in the description box in the links below. Anyway, welcome. Going back to the topic at hand in the video, I what I learned about being alone. The truth is, the first time I was left by myself, I didn't realize that I was left by myself. I didn't realize I had been abandoned or neglected because it wasn't within my radar that I would be alone. I did not consider that people would move away, far, far away, and I'll be left by myself without friends or family. And I think, like, growing older, for someone like me who never thought that I would be without a community or without people around me, it was quite shocking. And I remember, like, one time when the first time I was like left utterly alone, I also like have maybe interoception. It's like when you don't really know what's going on with your body or your emotion. I think this was my first kind of adult experience that's quite extreme and acute, was when I was left by myself and I had to take a bath 3 times in that day, meaning like not the shower and not everything. It's like I have to immerse my body into warm water. And what I didn't realize back then was that I was dysregulated. My nervous system was, excuse me, was going into like a, a chaos mode, and I did not know how to cope with it. I did not know what was going on. Even like I did not know that I was scared. Like that was a fear symptoms. I wasn't aware of that. My brain did not register what my body was experiencing, extreme fear, and the way it was coping was trying to calm itself by going into warm water and immerse it. And I feel like this was back when I haven't really realized that I was probably autistic, like Asperger's, and I was just trying to survive by myself. But my brain always tell me that I'm always alone anyway and I'm by myself anyway. So it was a conflict between my brain and my nervous system and my body and how to kind of navigate out of it. And for someone, I think the worst part about being alone is that when you get really sick or when you have an emergency and you don't have anyone to kind of call and you don't have anyone to rely on and you don't have anyone to kind of support you basically, and that's really concerning. No one's advocating for you. If you go into a doctor room or you're trying to say something, especially with me, sometimes like I turn mute when I'm being presented with an aggressive doctor, for example, a hostile doctor. Like my nervous system just shut down and they don't want to talk to this person. So it became quite awkward. And it's really difficult, especially when you're sick and especially when you're 30s and your 40s. Your friends and also is in the different phase of life. They would have their families to take care of, their children. So you are no longer like part of their daily life, right? And also like your friend probably in a different economic, no, in financial tax bracket, for example. When you were kids, you probably everyone was equal, but when as you grow older, these things happen. People move up and down the tax bracket, and that can be quite lonely as well because I feel like once you do that, there is a sense of distance that you can't really cross as well. Like you can't really um suddenly call someone like this is probably a personal thing for me. Like I wasn't able to do that in my head, like across, like, oh, I can't call this managing director out of the blue just to take me to the hospital. Like, we haven't spoken for a while. And I know, like, there is a trope of saying, if they're true friends, it doesn't matter where your society status is. But I guess it does matter, and it does makes a huge difference when you're an adult. It's very different how to navigate your life. And the worst part about being alone is I think I started losing kind of sense of time, and especially when you're being left inside a box, like apartment, and it's dark for years and years. I felt like years was like a page in a book. Like you just flip it. I definitely felt that for like 4 or 5 years, especially in my like the whole 30s, from 30 when I turned 30 to when I turned 40 last year. Did not I was alone. Like I only see people if I go to like a meeting for like monthly meeting, like for my craft group, like my crochet, my knitting, my those stuff kind of stuff where basically I meet my grandmother's club, where my friends are grannies. Um, and I feel like the only reason why I don't crumble all the way to the darkness of the pit of darkness is because I still see these people in a monthly basis, like even if it's only an hour or 2 hours, there is some kind of comfort there. And I think this is something that I would give a suggestion to, or at least offer my suggestion if someone is extremely lonely and they don't know how to cope, especially if you come from like a background where you're always surrounded by people and suddenly you are nowhere, like these people are nowhere to be found. If you're a woman, especially, you do actually need to be surrounded by other women or at least be around other women. You don't have to talk with them, you don't have to build a relationship with them, you don't have to build friendship with them, but you do need to be around women physically. And I would suggest you go to those kind of clubs, like clubs where of your interest. If you like running, go to a running club. If you like painting, go to a painting club. Usually, there is always going to be a free club available where you live. Usually, um, just go on a Facebook group and check it out. And even if you don't like them, I think your nervous system is required to be surrounded by other women, unfortunately. And that kind of will take you out of the funk a little bit and at least like set your nervous system back to baseline so that you can kind of do whatever it is that you need to do to build your life. On top of that, like being alone makes me feel confident in a lot of ways because I feel like I can go up to any kind of, well, not all, but like I can go up to a lot of store now and just go by myself. I think maybe that's why people think it as weird. Yeah, but I don't know, maybe time has changed. But like really comforting because you don't. I didn't realize this back then, like back in the days where I always hang out with a friend to go shopping or to go or watch a movie. It's like I wasn't talking at all. I was always the one that listening, and they're always the one that kind of share their friends. And I think I was that friend that narcissistic people really love because they really want to be around people who focus on them and them solely. But as soon as I kind of decided, I think after my mom passed away, which was a shifting experience for me, was like, no, I don't want to be a side character anymore. I want to be my main character for my own life. I think that's when all the dynamic of people kind of change and like a lot of people kind of fall away. And I guess like at the core, being alone is definitely something that I find to be a strength because you don't really rely on people to prop you back up and kind of make you disciplined about something. And no one's going to tell you to wake up in the morning. No one's going to tell you to make money. No one's going to tell you to eat. No one's going to tell you all of these things. And if you're prone to not do all of this, if there are no people, you need to make it a system and you need to make it a habit. Because I think once it becomes a system, becomes a habit, you don't think about it anymore. So you don't really need an outer motivation for you to do anything in your life. And I think when you're alone, you definitely do need to vent still. Right now, like you can do it with ChatGPT or any kind of AI that you can afford. Like it's free, most of them. You can go to DeepSeek, or you can journal, which is a best way to do it. Or you can record yourself like this on a vlog and just talk to the camera, and you can watch yourself. You don't have to do it publicly. You can just do it and upload it on YouTube and put it on private, and that will be like your stash. Just purely because if you keep everything on your phone, your storage probably gonna run out really quickly. So that's just practical. The best thing about being alone is I think there is not a lot of noise that is adding to your brain. Yeah, I feel like all the noises that I have in my brain is when I interact with people. Like I need to process it for like a month, or like maybe sometimes if it's a bit traumatic and emotionally intense, maybe like 5 years to get over a certain situation. And that's really bad for people that have that situation in their brain like me. So I think one of the benefits if you are autistic or neurodivergent being alone is definitely that quietness that you can process everything that has happened to you. Of course, the downside is you're not really participating on the present moment and the moment where you are needing to be interacting with the people around you and outside of you, and that's quite harsh. And I feel like it needs to be said because a lot of people are downplaying the effect of being alone. And I think this is specifically being alone as a woman. I don't know what it feels like to be alone as a man. So I think being alone as a woman probably is better to some degree. I think you need to experience it. You can't just have like living your whole life without the experience of being alone, because you would find how freeing it is for you. It's hard, but you don't have to do it for a long time like me. You don't have to do it for like almost like going into 1.5 decade now. So you don't have to do it like me. You can just do it maybe for like a month or so and see how you go, because it will definitely change your perspective, your perceptions about being alone and how to navigate it in the world. Yeah. Anyway, that's my take about this whole thing. Thank you for listening so far. So, yeah, I'll see you in the next video. Also, a reminder bonus ING Australia $125 for new customers. If you're interested, you can check out the link in the description box below and check out the steps and terms and condition. And I will see you in the next video. Bye, everyone.